Today we launched the Africa 50 Fund. We're aiming to raise $500 million. We already raised 250, so that's already amazing. And this 500 is going to unlock $100 billion of infrastructure projects across Africa. By unlocking that $100 billion of projects, it's going to lift 200 million people out of poverty. So it's going to add another 2% of GDP of the continent.
Oswald Boateng, is a designer friend of mine, but when he asked me to get involved, I said, listen, I'm in both feet. I know that the celebrity that I have, it's a time to really use it in the right way. And we were talking about investing in humanity. They were asking me questions about what to invest in. I said, invest in humanity, invest in those humans, man. Invest in those kids.
We're talking about Jamie Foxx. I mean, it's amazing that celebrity here in America. In Africa, Jamie Foxx, Jay-Z, Will Smith, they are looked up to in such a huge way. So if that celebrity can look back at Africa and say, look, guys, there's a strategy to change your lives, and we believe in it and we're supporting it. I can't tell you what that does to the youth on the ground in Africa. The solution is this development of infrastructure. And the key thing here is that it's all well and good that you building a hospital, but if there's no a road or power to electricity to power the hospital, then there's no point in that. And so this is why it's fundamental that the infrastructure plan that we put forward as Made in Africa is actually met.
Welcome to one of Cameroon's newest roads, leading us to a small village called Bakwa, a road that has changed the lives of many. Grace and her 3 children are wholly reliant on passerbys to buy her homegrown bananas and plantains.
At first, we were keeping things here nobody was able to buy because there was no road. Even people were sleeping here. When a vehicle live on the road like that, it would stay here for weeks. But now many people are passing, vehicles are passing like that. When you keep anything here, they just collect in a minute. Since this road has happened like that, the cash I'm having now, I cannot really imagine. It seems as if it's a dream.
Interconnecting people, regions, countries, facilitating the flow of goods, trade, and information is key to African success. In a continent like Africa, where 16 of its 53 countries are landlocked, reflection on how to best facilitate integration is at the core of its development strategy. And so whether we think of roads or bridges, whether we think of trains or airways, or whether we think about improving communication through landlines, mobile networks, and better internet bandwidth, connecting the world in 2013 is today intrinsically necessary. The Trans-Africa Highway, which links the cities of North and West Africa via Lagos to Yaoundé and onto Central Africa all the way to Mombasa and Kenya, give access to landlocked countries. Intra-African trade, thanks to these types of projects, more than doubled in the last decade, from $50 to over $100 billion. Meanwhile, the continent's ICT communication infrastructure, especially broadband internet, has been rapidly developing thanks to new technologies, which enable broadband cabling to be installed at the same time as a new stretch of road, not to mention underwater cabling. There are now more than 19 undersea cables connecting the continent to the rest of the world, up from 3 in 2005. Continuing to improve the continent's infrastructures to facilitate travel and movement of people and goods is important. Despite the many projects to improve physical connectivity between regions, there is still lots to be done. And to this end, the president of the African Development Bank, Donald Kaberuka, has launched a new fund called Africa 50. The fund is meant to increase the rate of infrastructure delivery in Africa, enabling a greater focus on project preparation and project development, as well as specialized financial tools to address specific market challenges.
The fund will aim at financing commercially viable, bankable projects which are transformative at the same time. Many of these projects are regional in nature. There will be railways, there will be maritime ports, there might be airports, there may be power connections. These are things which today are constrained by lack of long-term financing.
Africa 50 is one of the initiatives the bank is leading to continue funding progress on the ground. As Africans move towards an increasingly integrated mode of operations, experts say they expect to see more intra-regional trade, increased competitiveness, a stronger private sector involvement, and enhanced African presence in the global marketplace.